Alright, welcome. I did not prepare for this at all. This is on the spur of the moment. I really should have had the games had in mind before doing this. Honestly, I should have. But I didn't, because I'm a dumbass. And I've got till 9 before I need to go to bed because I work at 5:30 in the morning. Anyway, yeah, so this whole video is about remasters and remakes and what spurred this in my brain. What caused this to go through my thick head? Um, well, the answer is Pokemon. Brilliant, Diamond, and Shining Pearl. Actually, because there's been a lot of controversy about its style. The basically a 3D version of what the sprites would look like had it been 3D. It's pure definition of a remake. A remake does not mean you have to add new content. That's one of the biggest things I'm seeing is that it's more like a remaster because it's not adding anything new. Um, no, 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 no. A remake and a remaster, two different things. Right. Funkos, Naruto, mangas. You're in my way. Wow, I have. Remasters. Ooh, I just now remembered there is one I own that I don't have a copy for, and it is a remake, even though it's still 2D. That's Final Fantasy IV. I guess actually it is 3D. Final Fantasy IV for the DS. Yeah, that is 3D. Um, to scratch that, just ignore that little anecdote. Okay. I mean, it's Pokemon, so I might as well grab the Pokemon. Sorry, I know, I'm woefully unprepared for this. Oh, but it's fine. It's fine. I know there's another one. Oh yeah, I don't have the actual case for it. That's why. Why? How could I forget YouTube? Um. Oh, Pokeball, get out of the way. Name, baby. So, I think I pretty much grabbed all the games I really want to use. But before I start, there actually is something I want to show you. It's Pokemon related, so it's not a thing that's starting to roll out, and this has been out for a hot minute, and the packs are now starting to come out for it. That's Pokemon first partner jumbo thing. As you can see, there will be 8 waves of each starter set. The Galar one just came out, and of course, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Right, and this one, obviously, gotta open it again. Obviously, this little handy dandy thing. No, don't want to show me. Comes with this Pikachu. Big fat OG Pikachu. Don't ask me what set it's from. I don't know. And then today, the Galar packs have been sold out everywhere. Best Buy, wherever I go. Until today, thank God for Walmart. My large town being slow on the upkeep had them in. Right, there was only 2 left. You know, and boom, they got all those, and it came with 2 booster packs, which honestly was not expecting at all. But I head backwards. I didn't really get anything good, to be honest with you. And I would have opened them in a video, but my girlfriend does not want to do YouTube videos with me. This is something we share together. So I'm sorry, this is such a woefully unprepared video. So it was but I did pull one good card, and that was this Alakazam right here. Such a beautiful, beautiful full art card. And so I think every card I get from these packs that I get from first Pokemon starter packs, which are $10, which makes sense for the price because you're paying what? You're paying 25. You're paying $10. So it's like 8. So you're basically paying for 2 packs and 3 jumbo cards, which makes sense for the price. The $10 is warranted. Okay. The packs I got were Vivid Voltage and Sun and Moon. I don't know if that's always the case or if they're just randomized or what that's about, but that's what that's about. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. I'm going off topic. Anyway, yeah, it's I've got 29 minutes before I need to go to bed, so obviously I'm not going to sit here for another 20 minutes. Oh, watch me know. Oh God. Anyway, I'm just organizing here real fast about what is a full remake and what is a remaster. Oh my gosh. Hey, remake, remaster. It boggles my mind what people expect from a remake. I feel like some fan bases want one way, other fan bases want others, and no fan base wants the exact same thing. So here's Pokemon, right? People are blasting Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for its look, for the 3D chibi style, like super chibi style, not even X and Y, Sun and Moon. I wouldn't even say Sun and Moon. No, X and Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Those had like super chibi-esque models without being like legit 100% chibi. They're like chibi-esque, but they're not 100% chibi, right? But that's because of limited 3D hardware back in that day. They weren't that advanced and they hadn't learned other things yet. But Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, 100% chibi. There's no doubt about it. None. Just to a T chibi style. Until you get into the battle animation and then everybody's like, it's let's go animation. And of course people have been like, but you could have made it better by adding like outlines or making them more cell shaded, more colorfully animated cell shaded pop. I guess the one thing I saw was that people were adding like more detail into the cell shade instead of just like straight up chibi 3D graphic like Sun or Let's Go. I guess technically those count. I guess it do. Build the game. Oh God! What has the world come to? What has the world come to? next one I was thinking of. Yes, technically. Let's go game. That one too. Yes, technically. This one is technically part of it. So, yeah, people blasting it because they don't like the style. They don't like the style. I know. Bouncing everywhere. It's like, ooh, there's this game, there's this, whatever. For references, anyway. You got remasters, remakes, and ports. Those are three different things. All of them are the same concept. Taking an old game and putting it on a new system, on a new hardware. Making it better or making it more accessible. They do. Remakes do the same thing. Apply to both, making it better, whether looking or whatever, and make it more accessible. Ports and remasters just make it more accessible. I guess remasters also do it both. They just don't make it graphically all that different. They just make it sharper and better looking of the same graphical style. Um, Ports are just taking an older, somewhat newish game and bringing it, like a PlayStation 3 game to a PlayStation 4 game. Right? You're porting a PlayStation 3 game to a PlayStation 4 while upscaling it. It's not necessarily remastering it, but you're still upscaling it a little bit because of the hardware it's going to. You're upscaling it to the capabilities of the system, essentially. But they're all three different things, right? Remasters, remakes, ports. Either way, people get them confused, and there should be no confusion. Remasters, you're taking a game, you're shining it up a bit, not changing it a whole lot, but shining it up a bit, and maybe putting in some new music, maybe adding all the DLC into it, all the DLC from whatever into the newer one, which ports also do. But you know, with remasters, you're shining up the old code, but it still looks like the old code, but better looking, and you're adding new sounds and new other stuff. So you're basically making the game look drastically better without changing the style. Right? It's still the same game, 1-to-1, but just prettier, and maybe with some new sound, maybe with some new content. Maybe. Same thing with remakes, except with remakes, you are taking a game and you are literally rebuilding it from the ground up. You are remaking it, right? You're not just taking your old assets and shining them up to make them look so much better with some new sound and throwing it on your system. Remakes, you're literally remaking this game from the ground up in a new style. Whether it's supposed to be faithful or not is a different thing, right? Like Sword Pokemon in general. The games are faithful. They're always faithful to a degree. Right? Fire Red Leaf Green. Never played them. I never owned them. I wasn't into Pokemon when I just had my Game Boy. I probably should have been, but I wasn't, unfortunately. I was not into Pokemon in general at that point in time. Maybe a little bit with the anime. I'd watch it, like I said, I'd watch it on morning cartoon on WB channel, but that was about it. You know, I'd watch the anime here and there, but I never played the games. I guess I watched the movies too, but yeah, it was strictly the animated series, right? I didn't play the games, didn't collect the cards, none of that. I had a shiny Articuno that I treasured, and I don't know where it is, and that upsets me to this day. That's a different story. Anyway, remakes I do own. However, is my very first Pokemon game that I ever played. Y'all know it. Got Soul Silver, right? Very first game I ever made. This game is faithful. This is a faithful remake that added, I think, Pokemon Following You, right? So there were some new additions, obviously, and they put some of Crystal implements in there. But the third game in the series, like Yellow, Yellow added Pikachu, whatever. Um, but yeah, Crystal, they added some Crystal elements in there with the Sudoku thing. But Crystal wasn't as, I guess you could say, as big as an upgrade as Emerald and Platinum were to their series, right? And then you had Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, which is still faithful, but did a little more reimagining than Soul Silver did. Because Soul Silver was prior to X and Y. Mega Evolutions didn't exist when Soul Silver came out. Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out after Mega Evolution. So of course Pokemon put Mega Evolutions in them because they would literally came out after X and Y. Right? X and Y got the shaft. They didn't get their Z. They didn't get a third game. They didn't get a sequel. Nothing. They didn't get nothing. They got done dirty. Okay? I like X and Y. My third Pokemon game. Right? So Silver, Black 2, Pokemon Y. Those are my first three games. Then Omega Ruby. Okay. And I love Omega Ruby. Right? I love it. I would never play the original Game Boy games. If I had grown up on the Game Boy games, right? Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And then I played that game, I wouldn't go back to those. Eventually, one day, I want to get a copy of Emerald and play it on the original system. But had I not had that desire to play it in its original form, just because I want to, that's kind of my thing, is that I want to play it on its original format. That's why I bought Platinum for a DS. Granted, it's a reproduction copy, I can tell that. Maybe with an original, like an OG case, manual and stuff, but the card itself is a reproduction. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sold it for me. Sold it to me for $20. That was a flag. Anyway, those are slightly faithful with minor additions. So Silver and some big additions for Omega Ruby, like the flying on Latios, whichever version you had. Wow, beautiful. I wish they had kept that in every single game going forward. That was great. I loved that. Flying around, going through the portals, just going to the sparkles and going to a different world, different island, different land. It's great. I loved it. The Mega Evolutions they added were amazing. I loved that fight with Wally on Victory Road. The whole scene was beautiful. I loved what Mega Evolutions added to that game. All right, and then Delta episode was great. It was beautiful. Go fight Rayquaza, shoot to space, and fight Deoxys. Amazing. The only thing I wish they would have done is they would have added the event Pokemon into it. That probably would have made it a lot better. Other than Deoxys, same thing with Soul Silver. You wish they would have added. I guess to be fair, Soul Silver they were adding event Pokemon into it. But I mean, like OG event Pokemon, like the Celebi. I mean, I know there was a Arceus event Pokemon for Soul Silver and Heart Gold that was new to it, and I think there might have been another one like that, another event Pokemon specifically for the remake versions. I can't remember. I'm not that in depth in the Pokemon universe. But anyway, remake, remaster. All right, so you got remakes like SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, right? This is a remake. They remade the game from the ground up. One of my favorite games growing up as a child. I haven't played the remake. I own it, but I haven't played it. From what I hear, the Switch copy, the one I have, not the best. A bit laggy, a bit janky here and there. Probably still playable, just not as smooth and crisp as the PS4 and Xbox One version. Obviously, Legend of Zelda and Link's Awakening, who everybody is a kidding Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl to because of its top-down perspective, which Pokemon's always had. Did you all not play Red and Blue? Silver and Gold, Ruby and Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, Black and White 2, Hard Gold, Soul Silver. They're all top down. Just because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are going to be top down because they're being faithful remakes. It's not making this game just because this game's top down too. This game was top down in its original form too. It's a remake. You might as well just call Diamond and Pearl like, oh, those look just like Link's Awakening. No, they don't. Oh my god, it's dumb. Anyway, beautiful game. I loved it. I did not steal from the shopkeeper. Obviously, two of my favorite games. Faithful remakes here, baby. Of course, I mean, some control schemes changed up in here. There was some slight changes with this one. The stone mask dude was in a different spot. They put him in Gerudo's Fortress instead of before Gerudo's Fortress to make Gerudo's Fortress not as easy, but as long as you can make it to him fine, it's still going to be easy. This game, yeah, I'm aside from, making compatible to 3DS control scheme, faithful as faithful can be. Like, these games, it's gorgeous. This is the definitive way to play Ocarina of Time. I mean, the original Nintendo 64 version is not bad. It's not that bad at all. Same thing with Majora's Mask. To me, this is the definitive way to play it. Of course, this one did add some changes with like Mask, the swim, using your magic, and that kind of stuff. Like Majora's Mask definitely had more update systems to it than Ocarina of Time. But either way, they're both super faithful to the original game, minus the control schemes being mapped to the 3DS instead of the whatever the 64 controller was trying to be. I don't know. Another game that is a faithful remake is Shadow of Colossus by Blueprint. Oh yeah, beautiful. I love this game. Oh my god, one of my favorite games of all time. Now here we get into actually, I have one more remake that was, from by and part what it was remaking, really old Fire Emblem game. Shadows of, was it Valencia? Shadow of Valencia. I don't actually have the case. I want to buy the case, but I don't have it. I bought this as a sick get well gift for Andrew a long time ago. But yeah, I played it and I loved it. There was one part I had to have Amber do it for me because it was too hard. I tried for at least an hour and a half or two, and I was like, "Can you do this for me?" And she did, and I beat did the rest of it, no problem. And then I did venture into the post game dungeon where you can run into the main antagonist of Awakening, but I didn't make it to him because as soon as you die, it boots you out. And then you have remakes that aren't faithful, right? I do own. I guess here's the biggest example. Pokemon fan base typically they don't want faithful remakes. They don't want one-to-one recreation, remade from the ground up in a different, updated look. If that means something. They want their remakes to look like the generation they're countering. So, like, they wanted Soul Silver and Heart Gold to look like Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. They wanted Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire to mirror X and Y. People wanted Diamond and Pearl's remakes to mirror Gen 8, but they didn't. They went super faithful. Of course, there's rumors of Mega Evolution returning, which I honestly hope it does, because you did it with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Bring them back. Z moves are okay, but they're nowhere near as good as Mega Evolutions, and Dynamax is shit. I don't like Dynamax. I still don't. And then here's a series where they do want faithful one-to-one remakes, control scheme and camera angles and all. And that's Resident Evil. Just terrible. Resident Evil 3 are remakes where they updated it. They modernized it, right? These games took your classics that you loved that were fixed camera angles, tank controls, into modern 3D, over the shoulder, no fixed camera angle, games. So 2, then 3. Obviously, 3 cut a lot of corners, but the whole gist of them was to streamline and canonicalize a story. Leave no twists and curves and loose and whatever ends. Just wanted the games exactly how they were. And then Capcom was like, no. Resident Evil 1 Remake, the one you really loved because it was exactly like the old game. Plus, we added a new person who added to the game. We're not going to give you that this time. We're going to make it modern. We're going to change it up a bit. Keep it guessing. Granted, I love Resident Evil 2 Remake and I actually rev Resident Evil 3 Remake for what it is. If they would have added, like, who was it? Somebody, big YouTuber, Sphere Hunter. Yeah, said something about, like, when Jill gets infected, you have some creepy scene in the clock tower. So it's just a skip from being infected to Carl saving your ass. Anyway, and then you have remasters, which is like Ni no Kuni, like 15 hours into the game. I love it. The Uncharted collection. The Uncharted Assassin's Creed the Ezio collection. Barely remasters, but remasters. And, of course, Final Fantasy X-10-2 remaster. At the very end of 10. Final Fantasy game, so. Anyway, and then you have games like, I guess, to give you an example, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which is just ports. I guess you could say Super Mario 64 is a port. They just ported it. They emulated it. Sunshine and Galaxy are slight remasters because they did upscale it and all that stuff. Then you have games that are confusing. I guess I own one. Resident Evil Revelations and Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. These are games that were made for 3DS, and they put them on PlayStation 4. And for Revelations, they put them on 360 and PS3 and PS4 and Xbox One, and now Dream Drop Distance is going to Xbox. Anyway, yeah. What are those considered? Remaster ports? I don't. Do they fall under ports or remaster? Those two I'm actually confused about. Because you took a 3DS game and put it on a PlayStation and Xbox and made it look good. So I'm liable to think that's a remaster, but it could just be very, very well done port. Borderline not remaster. I don't know. One of my big points I'm getting to is that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are remakes. No doubt about it. They literally had to remake this game from the ground up. They're not taking the old game and just making it look better and then throwing it on the Switch. No, they remade the game from the ground up and 3D chibi top-down models. Just like the old games were 2D sprites, top-down models. This is a 3D game top-down model. It's a remake. It's trying to be faithful. It doesn't look as good as it could be. So my other question is, my last one, that I'm confused about is, what do people actually want from remakes? Do people want faithful games where they really just remake the game one-to-one how exactly it was on its original form, from its original system, bringing in over its side content as well, its extra content as well? Or do you want a game, a remake, to modernize it to the newer age and switch it up a tiny bit to keep it more fresh? And I guess it boils down to a way to put it in Resident Evil terms. Do people really want Resident Evil 1 remake? Or do people really want Resident Evil 2 remake? Because those are both two different versions of remakes. One's faithful, one modernizes it. What do people actually really want from remakes? Because it seems like every fan base has a different want for the remake. Pokemon wants a balance. A, they want a borderline faithful remake that adds flavor to it, I guess you could say. Like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, even though that game was canned. There are people who prefer original Emerald over it, which I don't understand because the game's so much better. It's faster. Who cares? It, I'm one, or like I said, Shadow Colossus. That game is a faithful remake down to a T, and they added a whole bunch of coins in there that you can climb all the way top to the frickin' tower. Could you do that in the original? I don't know. I'm pretty sure you could. It's weird. But yeah, it's like, do people want Resident Evil 1 Remake, Heart Gold, Still Silver, Shadow of Colossus, games that are faithful almost to a T that bring in minor new additions? Because make no difference about it, they all added minor new additions. I guess except for Resident Evil 1 Remake, who added the whole Lisa Trevor thing. I wouldn't call that minor. The coins I would call minor. The Pokemon following you I would call minor. Or do you want something that completely revamps the whole entirety of what that game was meant to be? Or what that game used to be? To make it something more in the style of today. Like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. I'm sure there's other examples out there, but I can't really think of them right now. My mind escapes me. Anyway. That seems to be the question I find myself with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Because the fan base seems to want something akin to Resident Evil 2. But then my mind's confused because Resident Evil 2 came out. Sure, yeah, there's a bunch of people who liked it about it anyway, but then there was a good portion that was disappointed because it wasn't like Resident Evil 1. With just the HD character models, with the fixed camera angle police system, sewers, lab, or how many else things were in that game. It just confuses me. It baffles me that it honestly doesn't matter what a company does to do with a remake. No one will ever be satisfied. No one will ever be content or fully happy with what you've done with their game. Because you're going to have the diehard fan base that just looks at it like, what did you do to my baby? It was so perfect before, why did you change it? Or we've already played this. I was hoping for something more modern. A more modern take on my nostalgia. Which is what Resident Evil 2 Remake was. I guess that's why there's always two sides to every coin. Some people love the recreations to just simply enjoy what they once enjoyed, but in a better looking way. And some people are sadistic. I'm joking. To me, it doesn't matter. I'm content either way. Sure, the game could look better, but whatever. Had I never bought that game, this would have been the only way I would actually have ever been able to play Diamond and Pearl. Right? It's just like with the Resident Evil series. I can't play tank controls. I can't. I've tried. I suck. It's as simple as that. I suck at tank controls. No matter what I do. But with Resident Evil 1 Remake, they made those tank controls beautiful, simple, smooth sailing, not convoluted bullshit. Right? And then Resident Evil 2, what tank controls? Sure, yeah, they're there to a degree, but it's very streamlined, obviously. Because it's a 3D over the shoulder You know, I guess I should pass it off to you because it's actually 8:59, and I said I'd be here till 8:50, didn't I? I said watch me. Well, here we are 10 minutes later. Anyway, so I guess that just leaves me with this question that I pass on to you. Um, what do you look for in a remake? Do you like something like Shadow Colossus, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Resident Evil 1 Remake? Or do you want something more like Resident Evil 2 Remake? Something completely different yet still familiar. With that, I'm gonna go to bed because I gotta work at 5:30 in the morning till 2 p.m. and then kill myself because tomorrow's daylight time saving or whatever. It's when you jump an hour ahead. I forget which one's which in terms of saying it. But tomorrow we jump an hour ahead, and that means I lose an hour of sleep before I yet again wake up at 5:30 in the morning. That time I only get to work till 1. Then I get to do it again Monday, 5:30 to 2. Anyway, I'm lamenting here. I hope you have a great day. I'm remembering you can be the best you could possibly be. If you'd like the video, give a like, comment, share, that'd be super special awesome. Subscribe if you haven't. That would really help me out. Ta-ta.